What is going on, my friends? Kirsten and I competed today. I figured even though we are quite tired from driving home, we got up early this morning to drive about 2.5 hours over to the comp. We competed, we ate dinner, we drove home. So both her and I are pretty tired, but I figured we would strike while the iron is hot and give you guys a contest recap. I managed to piece together all the videos of both her events and my events, and I figured the best way we can do this is we each kind of give a general recap of the day, give some context as to how things were going, kind of whatever narratives we want to spin for how we were thinking going into each event. So we give you a rundown of hers, then mine, and then we're going to run through the footage and we're going to just kind of react to the videos and give you guys our recap. So what would be your summary of the day, event by event? Just kind of how it went for you and your thought process as you went through.
Deadlift, the weight was pretty heavy for me. It was 275, which is the most I've done from the floor. So I did that as a wagon wheel for 4 reps, and the goal was 3. So that was pretty awesome. And then kegs was next.
Yep, we went from the deadlift on the wagon wheels on the axle to keg for a carry and load medley of 3 kegs.
Yeah, and we had only touched kegs once, I think the week before. So I wasn't really sure about form, and I got the first keg, and then I missed the second keg.
What was the weight on those 2 kegs?
I think first one was 100 and the second one was 125. Yeah, just need more practice on kegs. And then we threw a bag for distance.
Yep.
And
no.
Yoke next.
Was it yoke next? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Yoke, and that is a good event for me. I think that was also around 270, 275, and yeah, yoke's a good event for me, so I'm proud of that. And then bag toss for distance. On the day we got there, and people were spinning with the bags. We didn't train that way, so that was exciting. It didn't look horrible, so as long as it didn't look dumb, it was totally fine. And then stones, I was really proud of myself. I think my stone was 140. I had loaded the 165 stone to the comp height on Wednesday, but that was fresh. So I got 2 reps with 140 today, and the 140 felt like the 165 after a full day of events, so definitely happy with that.
So ending on a good note.
Yeah, definitely.
So how it went for me, I know historically, anytime I've competed in anything, I'm a little bit of a slow starter. And then as I tend to warm up, get into like the competitive mind space, I'm usually able to exceed whatever my best training results were in competition just due to that adrenaline-based environment. So coming in, I knew to try to keep reasonable. The first event was, for me, 525 for max reps on the axle bar wagon wheel deadlift. I actually ended up going earlier than 2 of the guys I was competing against because apparently, not beknownst to me, we go in the reverse order of who signed up. So if you sign up, the order of who signed up, right? So if you sign up late, you have to go. It's the reverse order. If you signed up late, you have to go early.
Oh, I was saying if you're first to sign up, you get to go first.
No, you get to go last.
Oh, sorry. You're right.
Get the hell out of here. So if you get some priority if you sign up early, right? We signed up about a week out. So thankfully there was one guy who signed up even later than me, but going early in a rep out deadlift like this, it's kind of open-ended, right? You're like, do I go all out and try to secure the event win? Or do I try to guess what I think I need to win and save a little energy for later in the show? Because doing a max rep out on deadlifts is quite taxing. So I let off, I did 21 reps. I believe I had probably about 4 or 5 reps in the tank if I felt like it. I figured in my head that 21 would be a high enough number to secure me the event win, which it was. So event 1 went to plan. I'm very confident, at least in the local level, my deadlift is going to be solid. I didn't really train much from this height at all. I just was banking on the fact that I'm a good deadlifter. I did my 21. It was a well-picked number. Paid off for an event win, beating the 3 guys who also entered the super heavyweight class with me. Event 2, as Kirsten said, we have practiced on a keg once ever, and in our practice session, we were under the impression we were just doing a pick and a load, and so we didn't practice running with it. So much like Kirsten, shocked Pikachu face, I did terrible at the thing I've never done before. I tried to go too fast on the first keg because I saw one of the really big guys I was competing with put in a really good time, and I thought maybe if I gun it, I could chip that time. He's probably, 6'6", 6'7". So when he was running with the kegs, he didn't have to lap them and throw them over. His carrying height was enough to toss them over. So in my head, I was like, oh shit, I have to lap these to get them over, because my kegs went 240, 275, 300, which felt pretty heavy to me. So I need to lap them and get them over. So I'm like, oh crap, I gotta gun it if I want to win this event. And that was my mistake. I probably should have just put in a steady run and aimed for second, but I gunned it. I dropped the first keg, kind of got my bearings, loaded the first keg, ran back, loaded the second keg, went pretty good. And then again, just kind of was trying to rush it. I missed my grip, and so I had to try to re-extend through with the 300-pound keg twice. So that was my worst event. I ended up getting third of the 4 guys. Managed to finish the run. Can't be too mad, but that was my worst performance of the day. Not too surprisingly, it's on the event that I have never practiced before, but what can you do? Event 3. Yoke went pretty well. My weight was 650. I put in a decent run. My turn was pretty good. The latter half of the run was better than the former half. I kind of started off pacing myself badly. Instead of taking shorter, faster steps, I tried to overstride at the beginning, but it was enough for another event win. So first in the first event, third in the second event, first in the third event. Going into the bag toss, this was kind of up in the air. I didn't know what to expect on this one. Pretty quickly after we saw everybody spinning in the warm-ups, we realized that our backwards toss that we've been doing in training was not the move. In the warm-up room, I took a lot of warm-up throws to try to figure out how to do just a half circle spin, because that seemed to be the better technique. And my general explosiveness kind of carried me through. I managed to figure out how to do a little bit of a spin, and I ended up actually securing the event win, which I didn't really earn, to be perfectly honest, but I was happy enough with that. So we're at 3 event wins and 1 third place. And the interesting part here is the guy who was in second, he's a really good strongman, man. I chipped him, but like I was so impressed by this guy's like technical prowess as a strongman. Like statically, my numbers are a fair bit ahead of his, but god damn, he's giving me a run for my money on every single event. And it just goes to show that like A, generalized strength for strongman is somewhat of a different quantity, and B, actually being good at strongman matters. It's not just about who's the strongest, because he's fucking giving me a run for my money on every one of these. And so because he performed, I think he got second on every event. So like very even across the board. He had good points, whereas I had that third place to drop some points. He was only 2 points behind me. So coming into the stones, if I zeroed the event, he would beat me. I think I needed 2 to tie for second place, which would have secured me the win, 3 to tie with him, and then 4 to outright win the event. And once again, my adrenaline carried me through. The weight I've only done for 1 in training, because it was the first time I'd ever done a concrete Atlas stone. I ended up loading for the full 4 to win the 5th and final event and win the overall. So finished strong as per usual, started poorly as per usual. Definitely realized that like as I get to higher level comps, I'm going to need to go out of my way to travel however far I need to travel to start touching something like the specific events, because generalized training did not prepare me properly for the kegs at all. So we're going to go through and we are going to react to the video. I'm going to put us in the top corner, and it'll be some cool displays of editing. So starting off with Kirsty's deadlift. First rep looked pretty hard.
They all feel hard.
So we'd been training dead stop because, again, we didn't notice that in the official rules, it said there wouldn't be an up command, right? Which translates to you're allowed to touch and go them. I think Kirsty probably could have squeaked out 5 had she gotten into a good groove of touch and go reps. But this was a huge win.
Yeah, I didn't touch this weight in training. So.
Yeah, because her best pull for 1 from the floor is 275, and when we started out this training cycle, she was the same strength or weaker from this axle bar, from this wagon wheel height. So I went, this is just no fun. It was pretty light. I was just thinking the whole time, like, god damn, how many should I do? I don't want to be a goober and like just end it early only for someone to then chip me, but I also don't want to absolutely fry my lower back before we have kegs and stones and yoke. So I was trying to like think about what I thought would be a winning number. Thankfully I got it right. I was pretty nervous when the other guys were going. I was really just impressed with their performances. because the speed at which they got past their 10th rep, I was like, oh shit, I should have done a couple more, but thankfully it was enough to win by 3 or 4 reps. So I got what I wanted to do there done. So here's Kirsty's first keg.
Yeah, I think if I had more confidence to fall back on, because in the moment with the adrenaline, you fall back on your muscle memory and what you've practiced, and with no practice, I was just like moving my hands on the keg, trying to figure out how to grab it. So
here's me dropping it. That was super cool. Regather it, pick it from the bottom. Pretty easy extension on that 245. Run back, good pick, good carry at the 275. Gather it, extend through. That one went very well. And then this 300 just caught me off guard a little bit. I tried to rush it and I wanted to extend straight away instead of setting my arms and pulling it into me a little harder, and that ended up costing me a little bit of extra time. I think I could have recovered from the drop pretty well had I taken a sec and actually lapped the keg properly. So here's Kirsten's yoke. Transition was pretty good considering we trained without a transition.
And I'm a slow person, so.
Oh, you're pretty quick on the yoke.
That's true.
Yoke is Kirsten's best event. We don't know if it's just the fact that she's got good unilateral stability coming from ice skating, but she can take like 120, 130, 140% of her max squat for a very quick run on the yoke without much training. It's one of those things that came easy to her. Mine was okay. My initial start I was not happy with. My transition was good. My latter half was good. It was enough for the win. I still have a long way to go as far as that event. What'd you think of your bag tosses?
It looked less bad than it felt.
good enough.
Yep.
Not embarrassing.
Exactly.
So I'm just winging these.
It's working though.
It went far enough to win, so that was nice. I was happy with how these turned out. I knew I didn't earn it. I was just relying on my previous athletic history and athleticism. It's not as though I trained hard for this event and, mastered my technique. I changed my technique on the day and still managed to get it done. Now here's Kirsty's final event with the stones. What was the weight on this again?
140. I just black out at the top, so I just keep pushing and hope it goes over.
So Kirsten's making a little mistake here of pushing it forward just a little too early to where she's actually getting stuck. If she kept pulling through and just getting a little bit more height on that stone before moving it forward, it might be a little smoother over the bar. Like that second rep, that was nice.
Thank you.
I was really worried for you because this stone had a little flat edge, and Kirsten super cleverly decided to put it on the flat edge at the beginning so it would stop rolling around. But that also means you can't get your fingers underneath. So luckily this one was not very heavy for you. But I was like, she's going to fail the pick. This is terrible. So
I was really hoping for a third, but I think just after the day.
So I don't know if you guys can see this, but she eats this to the knee. Didn't even notice. Absolutely tanked it. I ran over and checked up on her to make sure she wasn't injured. It was didn't even notice. Big knee gang. So here's my run at 340. First one went really well. When I did 340 in training on Wednesday, it actually felt kind of hard, which, for someone my general strength level, it shouldn't be, but that's just my inexperience in stones showing, and you can't expect to be good at something you don't train, right? So I'm still putting in my work to become good at this. I can't just expect to be good at it because I'm good at gym lifting. But that being said, I actually got my tacky heated up properly this time, and oh my God, I was barely using tacky on Wednesday because it was cold. It was so much easier. As soon as I did the first pick, I was like, oh, thank God. That means at least I can get the 2 to tie for second and get the win. I did the second one. I was like, that's pretty easy. I'll tie the event winner just for fun. And then I had the energy for the fourth, so I decided I would take the outright event win. So here's some pictures of me being short.